Hello, and welcome back to me making 3D stuff. I don't know what to call it anymore. At this point, it's just me making 3D stuff. We're just hanging out. We got Junie in the chat. Junie's here early, nice and early. Hello, Junie. Happy to have you. I'm going to go ahead and pop on some music, and we'll jump right into it. Let's see here. What do we want? We want to put a little bit of shuffle on this thing. Let's go for it. And we want to lower that volume. Nice and low. Perfect. So what are we doing today? So last night, actually 2 nights ago, if I'm really thinking about it, I sat down and I made this. So I made this lovely little spiraling path. I used a really creative process to make it. These pink lines should be kind of indications of how I did that. But I just made this like real cool spiral. So this is going to be like a spiral staircase. This is my spiral staircase. I'm pretty proud of this thing, man. It's like real cool. It's double lined, so it's got a top portion and a bottom portion, but the bottom portion starts only halfway up, so it's nice and secure, and you can't like dig yourself into a hole by going down and like clipping underneath it. Like, this thing is great. This is like a really nice looking little piece of thing I made. And it's got a nice little skirting line on it. Like, I'm proud of this thing. This thing is nice. Anyway, I'm not here to brag about this. What I am here to talk about is what I'm putting on top of the pillar is a tree. So I'm going to start by making a tree. I have suffered from making trees in the past. I'm kind of a little chaotic when it comes to making trees. So today we're just going to kind of hone in, make a tree. I've had a very stressful, crazy weekend. I've been working so much lately, and figured I'd do something a little bit easier. But ideally, I'm gonna finish this tree up real early, real nice and early. Don't pay attention to that copyright at all. I'm gonna finish this tree up nice and early, and then we're gonna put stuff on the tree. So I got some little carvings that I can add. I'm gonna put like those Japanese ribbons, the sacred little ribbons on there, all sorts of stuff. So let's just go for it. A lantern? A lantern could be super nice. Thank you for the suggestion. That's huge. So let's make ourselves a tree. So I'm going to get rid of pretty much everything. Let's just get rid of the pillar to start with. That's gone. I guess I can render it. Who cares? So I got a tree. Goodbye. We're in ancient tree mode, and we're going to go to cube. I think ideally we're going to start off with a cube for everything. I want to make this nice and easy to start with. So now we got to start asking ourselves, what are we doing? How do you make a tree? I'm sure there's a lot of conventional wisdom for this, but I got to wrap my brain around it. So let's go for it. So first things, I'm going to make the tree shape. And then we're going to say, how high up are we going to go until we hit our first branch? I'm going to say that's decent. And we're just going to kind of judge a little bit of where we're going. We'll do it like that. And this top portion I will work with myself, and let's go for it. So, the best case scenario, I think, is I'm just going to press extrude. We're going to do rotations. We're going to get really loosey-goosey with this. I'm going to use all the shortcuts I can remember. And we're going to keep this thing super loosey-goosey. We're not going to think too hard about it. We're just going for it. Right, so we're just doing stuff. The more you think about it, the more this is going to take 3 hours to complete. And, you know, that's just not the feeling today. Let's go ahead and rotate on Y. Nope, let's rotate on Z. There we go. So we're just going for it. I'm hoping, ideally, that I'll finish this little tree up in like 30 minutes. I doubt that'll be the case, but that's like the dream. And if that's the case, we're gonna go into like design mode. Simo says, I bought this cheap modeling clay today and started to play around with traditional sculpting. That's amazing. Have you made anything yet with it? We got any projects that we can show off? Okay, so you'll notice that I'm making weird little indentations in this thing. There's one right there. What we're gonna do is extrude off of this, scale these guys down, and then we can just do grabs. Like this. Just like that. We're just gonna make nice little branches. So this is gonna be kind of the funk for just a little bit here. If anybody has any conventional wisdom for me, that would be most appreciated. But ultimately, I'm just kind of chugging away at this thing. Like I said, I was looking for something kind of easy today. Oh, I do have to mention, I have a weird thing that I have to do to this tree at the end. So there's going to be some weirdness towards the end of this that we're going to be looking towards, but we'll get there. A way too small head for practice. Got to do it again, but bigger. Hey, I mean, Simo, I know you're like the best at everything, but sometimes you just gotta, you know, sometimes you gotta start from scratch. It's interesting to see you stepping outside your zone. That's very interesting. Oh, let's rotate like that. There we go. I just want the branches a little bit higher. I'm realizing that we made like, yeah, this will work a little bit better. There we go. I want everything to kind of make basically a circle right here. The goal is to make as much density here as possible. And that's important for what we're going to finish with on this. People that make trees regularly, or people that study trees, or I don't know what you would call those people. Hello, you people. I guess that's what I'm calling you. People that do tree stuff will know that trees use like Fibonacci sequence to like multiply. They have this like weird routine that they run to determine if they should have new branches and how many new branches and stuff like that. I'm not stressing it. I could sit here and like really think about that kind of stuff. I could have learned the algorithm, but like, I don't know. Worst case scenario, someone's gonna notice and be like, "Hey, you did it wrong," and be like, "Oops, sorry, I'm not a zoologist, or I'm not a botanist." So I mean, I'm not that worried about it. Arborist. I'm a cup of Joe over here. Joe, you know everything. Traditional sculpting is just 3D IRL. I mean, you can't do this with sculpting. Like, you can't poly edit. I also like words, Joe. Ugh. Man, you know what? I'm gonna claim a water right now. Everybody, take a nice little drink. Water tastes so good right now. I just had some Tex-Mex, and God, was it good. I did not know how much I needed that Tex-Mex until I had it. It was just so delicious. Okay, so check this out. We're gonna extrude this one ever so slightly, and I'm gonna scale it down. Joe, by the way, I really want some Susai right now, to be honest. Yo, Grubhub it. So I don't normally like to talk about these kinds of things, but since it's been brought up, I'll say it. We're currently like, they up their prices? Yeah, I was about to say, we're currently like boycotting Susai, because they just like, they've gotten really weird businessy since COVID started. And at first, I was like, oh, they're like defending their employees. Like, that's fair. Like, good on them, whatever. But they're not even like being sanitary. They're just being jerks. They're just like not nice. They're just like finding ways to make money off of catastrophe and like making their service, which is delivering food, way more complicated for like no reason. It's like, you make food. Chill. They did the toilet paper thing, which was really weird. Can you please explain that for everybody? Please let everybody know what that means. Also, Joe, question for you. How is your witch? How's the fan art stuff going? Oh, if you ordered a certain amount, you got a roll of toilet paper? Yeah. I remember that. That was early, too. That was like as soon as COVID started. Very weird to like catastrophize situations and like play with people's panic. Ugh. I'm sure it was a good business decision. I'm sure it helped, like, whatever, but it's just bad practice. Okay, look at that. That's a nice looking tree. Having trouble figuring out the human model. I mean, I know I said this before. I don't mean to be a broken record. You correct me as much as you need. I think, like, using the robe to correct as much of the model as possible is going to be huge for you. You're going to want to use that robe to hide a lot. Because at the end of the day, even people that are amazing at 3D modeling, even people that do character design, all that sort of stuff, unless you're making, like, literal porn, you're clothing your character, and you're probably not making models underneath the clothing. Some people might, and that's fine, but like you shouldn't if you're putting it in the game engine and all that sort of stuff. So if you're starting out, I don't think you should hold yourself to that level of expectation. I think you really want to like play to your strengths, make a good robe, and just let that stand as like the body. Yeah, that's a good point, but also how do robe? I don't know. Working to figure it out. You know what? I'll make a robe for you in just a second here. I'll show you exactly how to make a robe. We'll make a robe together. I got a real cool technique that I've used in the past. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to freak out when I start doing it because there's a part of the process that is super frustrating and annoying, but I'm going to do it so that you don't have to. Hey, Joe. Joe, I got a compromise for us. Joe, I got a compromise for us. Why don't you suggest a speed sketch of a robe? And then whatever anybody suggests later, I'll put a robe on it. Also, I post YouTube videos of this stuff. So, like, if you need to go back and watch it, feel free. I mean, that's a not so subtle plug for my YouTube that basically sees no viewers, but there it is. It's there as a resource for me. I use it to go check my work all the time. All right, male character models in video games need bulges. I stand by that. I stand by that too. I think if you're going to have sexualized female characters, that's fine. I actually deeply see the appeal of like sexualizing characters. Like, I get it. When people are like, we need to stop sexualizing characters, I'm like, I don't really stand for that. Like, okay, here's I don't mean to get political, but I guess I'll get political for a second. Being like into equal rights, being into feminism, all that sort of stuff does not mean that women are not allowed to be sexy anymore. It just means that the expectation of women is not default to sexuality. Like, women should not be judged based on whether they're sexy or not. But that doesn't mean that they shouldn't have the ability to be sexy if they want to. And I have a lot of trouble with that. I like struggle with when people are like, you know, how dare this character be sexy? It's like, what if the character wants to be sexy, right? What games should be doing, the responsibility that games should be having when it comes to sexualization of characters, is games should have contrast. Games should take it upon themselves to contrast sexy women and non-sexy women and put both of them in positions of power and not show that like sexiness is a requirement for them to get what they want or whatever. Like, that's the most important thing that game developers should be doing at this point in time. But like, likewise, if we want to talk about equal rights, we should also be talking about like having sexy men. We live in the like gayest timeline. We live in the most gay version of the world we've ever lived in. Let's have some sexy dudes. Like, let's go. I don't get like what the disparity is on that. All right, I gotta say, this is looking super good. I'm kind of chugging away real slow. Capcom putting Chris Redfield in that sexy sailor outfit. Man, Capcom, I don't know if Capcom's a good company or not. I have a hard time with Capcom. I have a real hard time wrapping my brain around Capcom. I've been kind of on a Monster Hunter kick lately. And, man, Capcom makes weird decisions. This is looking good. This looks like a piece of modern art. Let's do a RY. There we go. So, again, this tree is not going to be, like, arborically correct. We're making some weird stuff. Actually, let's take it upon ourselves to add our modifier real quick. I'm going to go back and forth on this modifier a couple of times. But I just want to double check that things are looking all right. I mean, that is pretty good looking. We're going to have to do some, like, tailoring. Like, this is definitely too skinny, right? But we're going to play with this and make this look right. I'm pretty okay with this. I love this. This is a good looking tree. Looks like antlers. That's, honestly, you're barking up the right tree there, bud. That's exactly what I'm doing. I am making, basically, pun intended. The pun was not intended, but it was an obvious pun now, wasn't it? And I should have intended it. I'm going to want to go along the Z. Yeah, just like that. Should have taken credit for it? Nah, it's your credit. Not that there's any credit for you to have gained from it, but it's your credit now. Junie, how have you been? I don't know how public you want to be about things in your life, but I know that there's some house stuff that's happening with you lately. You want to talk about your house stuff? How are things moving along on that front? All right, so let's go ahead and really dig into some of this. I'm going to start doing detail work now. Been decent. Starting my new job next week. Congratulations. I hope they treat you super well, as you deserve. Okay, we're going to do it just like this. Go straight up. Oh, that's it. Look how gorgeous that is with the weaving. Oh, baby, baby. Okay, so there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 branches. House stuff is postponed several months until my parents are ready for me. Is that a good thing? Like, does that give you time to think and do stuff? I imagine it would be good for me if I were in that situation. I think it'd be nice to get a little bit more time to think and play with what's going on. All right, so we're gonna do some nice, crazy work over here. That is pretty good looking. That looks like a nice haunted tree. Haunted is not exactly the word I was going for with this, but I can take it. So let's get a branch that just goes wild. Like, you go way out here. So that's going to be like probably our furthest branch, I think. Which means that we need to go ahead and subdivide this. I'm going to use the word subdivide to mean everything today. So just know that I'm wrong when I'm saying the word subdivide. Anybody who doesn't 3D model. Also, for anybody curious, literally 2 minutes before stream, I destroyed my pinky toe on my my drum stool. And hurts like crazy. It hurts like absolute crazy. I'm like, if possible, I might have fractured it. This might have been the most damage I've ever done to a toe from jamming. Okay, let's go ahead and finish this guy off. RY, yeah, that's the one we want. Rule of thirds. You're gonna end up smashing it 2 more times. Don't say that. I don't want that. Why are you casting a spell on me? I'd like to never hit it again. Okay, so that is not a bad looking tree. We're gonna go ahead and grab one of you. Maybe you've just got bad luck then. I mean, you're probably right, but I don't want that on me. I'm not trying to hit my toe that many times. Okay. All right. So I think we might be just about here. So I think we're on the fixing mode of the tree. And dare I say that we are working at kind of a rate that I'm not used to. I'm feeling a lot faster today. Using shortcuts. Who would have guessed using shortcuts would actually make you better at Blender? Who would have thought? It's almost like everybody in the world has been saying that forever. Found out Disgaea 6 cut out a lot of staple classes, and now I'm not sure if I'll get it. I hate to be this guy. I kind of think the class system in Disgaea is like one of my least favorite parts. Disgaea for me has always been about like fusions and like making individual characters than it is about like making classes. As long as the functionality of classes is being, like, brought to other characters, I don't know if I care too much. Like, in Phantom Brave, my goal in Phantom Brave, every time I play... I'm still playing Phantom Brave to this day. My goal is always to, like, take somebody and just make them a beast with everything. Like, I have a bottle mail, so it's literally a little bottle that has a letter in it, like a shipwreck, you know, bottle letter system. I have a bottle mail that knows like dark mage magic. It can like pick up a sword and do like whirlwind cuts and all sorts of stuff. Like that bottle mail is crazy. And to me, that's like the fun of those games, is like making wild characters. That being said, I think there are some classes in Disgaea that probably should just not exist anymore. Because they're basically like sexualized children. And that's all I'll say on that issue. We'll just keep that real nice and short. So we could probably do without that, I think. I don't know why this one looks so crazy. That face looks weird. They got rid of the Magi Change system, too. I'm not sure I know what the Magi Change system is. What is that? Is Magi Change... Magi Change is the fusion system, right? Oh, monsters turning into weapons. What? That's like the best part. What? Why would they get rid of that? That's like half the lore of the game. That's dumb. What on earth? They cut out the Skull Mage. I mean, I'm not, like, pleased that they cut the Skull Mage out, but, like, I don't know. Something's got to give, right? Especially now that they're switching over to 3D. It was always your boy. I think Pokemon set a pretty weird standard for, like, how to mass deliver 3D assets. I think Pokemon really, like, kind of ruined it for the industry, being like, oh, we can't do it. It's like, you have infinite budget. What do you mean you can't render, like, 1,000 characters? Like, granted, they're complicated characters, and I get it, right? Like, that's hard. Making Mario Odyssey was hard. Making Breath of the Wild was hard. Why are you shying away from making your own game? Like, what? So I think Pokemon might have set like a bad standard for it, and I think some companies are following suit, which is a shame. They should be doing that. Is this enough? It's gonna need little branches now. We're gonna have to do like the detail work. Oh, that looks so good. That looks so good. Cool. I'm very proud of this tree. Very, very proud of this tree. Now we gotta make the roots. The roots are gonna be a big part of this. So I gotta focus on roots here in a little bit. But this is good looking. I think we're okay. I'm gonna sit and do like retopoing stuff maybe near the end. I want to get a nice primitive going first. So we're gonna focus down on making little tiny branches. So let's just dig into it. So to the best of my understanding, it should be like this. Right? That should be decent. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll make like a little tiny branch right here. I grab you and I extrude and I S on the Y down and we rotate ourselves just a little bit. That could work. Yeah, I'm still salty about the whole Pokemon situation. I just think it's so like you see a lot of game companies do this. You see a lot of game companies that go like, wow, it's so hard to make this game. And it's like, then why are you making it? Like, why in your infinite budget are you making this game if it's so hard? And, you know, some companies might be sincere, and I might be like, you know, off base in saying this. But it's like, nobody has ever said game design is easy. Nobody has ever said like, oh yeah, it should be super easy for you to make a game from scratch. That's so easy, Nintendo. Like, that's never been a part of the conversation. And to see companies like, I don't know, like playing the pity card when they're actively engaging in what is a tough practice and should be taking it seriously to some degree, and they're not. That's, I don't know. That gives me such a bad taste in my mouth. Like, that would not fly anywhere else. You would never have, like, a football team being like, oh, it's so hard to run. It's like, yeah, that's the whole point. That's what you're doing. That's your job. Like, I'm sorry that that's your job if you don't like it. Like, that's terrible if you hate it. It's the whole thing, but like, nonetheless, it's still the job. That's what you got to do. I think at the end of the day, you find companies like this, and I mean specifically like game companies, and it's like they just don't want to make the games anymore. And I think Pokemon is a real good example of that, because like, it's the #1 media franchise in the world. Like, literally, if somebody decided we're gonna stop making Pokemon, people will be shot dead. Like, somebody will be killed in that process. Like, I'm not saying that to be like sensational. Like, literally, there's so much money exchanging hands that the amount of corruption exists and somebody will be hurt for making that decision. And that's a shame. That's scary. But like, you know, they made that Tempo Quest game, that weird music running fighting game, and it's clear they don't want to make Pokemon anymore. It's like, okay, so what do you do about that? How do you stop making a franchise? I think the answer that I would go for is like, okay, I'm gonna reveal my grandmaster plan. When I make it big one day, and it's like, when it's 30 years from now, and I'm owning the world's greatest game company. This is a joke. That's not gonna happen. One day, when I'm very famous, I will regret saying this live on the internet. So feel free to quote this in court or something in a couple of years. Hello, court. I'll talk directly to you. I got the idea. Here's how you do it. If you're sick of making games, if you're sick of running your company, if you're sick of whatever, and you don't trust your vice president or you don't trust somebody else to make your franchise, sell the rights per game and let basically anybody make your games and charge a licensing fee. Like, okay, all of a sudden Blizzard is going to make a Pokemon game because why wouldn't they? It's free money. But Game Freak gets 10% of all revenue, and all Game Freak has to do is play test it, say yes or no, we like this game or we don't like this game, and that's it. And you're done, and you accept 10%, and you're done thinking about it, and you never have to play the game again, and you never have to make the game again. Like, that's it. And if the canon gets messed up, just call it non-canonical. Like, it's not real anymore. I mean, ultimately, we want our artists not to get sick of their own work, and we want to pretend that people love what they make for the rest of their lives and stuff like that. But if you end up in that position, that's what I think you should do. I think you should sell the rights and just have like an open approval process for new games in the franchise. Is it ideal? I don't know if that's ideal, but it's better than shooting yourself in the foot. I'm telling you, if BioWare messes up Dragon Age 4, I'm going to be pissed. I don't like keep up with BioWare enough to know what's going on with them. They made Andromeda, didn't they? Mass Effect Andromeda. That's exactly what Games Workshop does. Yeah. And I would say Games Workshop is like the one, right? Like Games Workshop is like the only old game company that's still like holding their integrity. I have my opinions about Dungeons and Dragons, and I don't want to get too much into it because I know some people are very passionate, and I think it's righteous, like what people are into with Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons is cool. Culturally, it's done some really cool stuff. But I feel like Dungeons and Dragons is one of those companies that is like, we're done. Like, we don't care anymore. And what they should do is the exact same thing as Games Workshop. They should sell their rights. Wizards of the Coast, though, has always had kind of a weird track record, and I'll leave it at that. I'll leave my opinions there, because there's a lot to be said about Wizards of the Coast, and they're a complicated company. It's kind of hard to nail down what they actually think and what they actually feel. So, at risk of saying, you know, something that might not be true, I'll leave it there. But Wizards of the Coast, they definitely give me a weird vibe. Something weird's going on under the surface there. Different teams work on Mass Effect, but yeah, the team did Andromeda did a horrible job. I have opinions about Andromeda in the Mass Effect series using queer baiting. Let's hear it. If you'd like to share, let's hear about the queer baiting. I think for sure they do. I think a lot of games are like queer baiting at this point. Like, so many games are like, yeah, we have gay characters. Like, insert a straight character that just, for whatever reason, chooses to like gay characters for no reason. There's so many times where, like, game characters are just like it's the equivalent of watching a character, like, flirt with a girl and then be like, yeah, I'm gay. And you're like, oh, really? Okay, sure. Yeah, that's allowed, but you could call it bisexual instead. You could maybe stop trying to like gate your characters that way. This has become a real critical hour all of a sudden. I don't know where this came from. I guess I had a lot to get off my chest. I care about games, I guess. I care about you know, companies and games, and I think people need to stop like lying to themselves about, you know, like games passion, especially like CEOs. Maybe like the guys who work on it and they're like super passionate and they want the game to succeed. I don't mean those guys. There's always artists on projects that like work harder than anybody else, and those are like the true saints of the world. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about like CEOs. I'm talking about the Blizzard CEO who cut like 17% of his company and then gave himself like a $10 million raise. Yeah, that guy, good luck. Good luck in whatever the world has to throw at you. Because unfortunately, like, the people that he's firing are those artists that care about the games, are the people who are passionate and whatever. That's the real shame. I suppose that's true everywhere, though. I suppose that's true for retail. I suppose that's true for exactly everything. I gotta say, despite all the crazy conversation, this tree, if not a little weird and curvy, looks super good right now. The shape is perfect. The shape is exactly what I want. Mass Effect dropped male x-male romance options from the game because they crumbled to a Fox News rant. What? Then they offered one gay romance in Andromeda and refused to release information on the romanceable characters prior to release, so you had to buy it to find that out. The gay romance was so poorly done and small, a simple fadeaway, and they didn't even let you see a kiss. They only allowed you to gay romance the new alien man after Backlash in a later patch. Dragon Age has also been much kinder to gay representation. Say what you will about Nintendo and some of their recent shit, but with the Wii U bomb, when the Wii U bombed, CEO took 90% pay cut to help the company keep going. I mean, there's a lot to say about Nintendo. I like Nintendo, despite me ranting about Game Freak. I think Game Freak is almost kind of ambivalent from the rest of Nintendo. I think Nintendo is good. I've heard some like disaster reports about Miyamoto, and every time you hear like people talk about Miyamoto and he did this and he did that, it's like he did that because he cares. I've heard weird stuff where like during Pikmin, Miyamoto walked in like several months before the game was supposed to be released, and he was like, "Oh, I don't like this, change it." And everybody on the Pikmin team felt like betrayed. Like they felt like, what the heck? Like, why did you shoot us in the foot like this? And look at Pikmin. Pikmin is wonderful. Pikmin's one of the coolest games ever made. So he's right. Maybe he wasn't the nicest about it, but he's right, and like he obviously cares about what he's doing. So I think like, you know, Nintendo as a company is very cool. I don't, something about Game Freak is weird. Man, I don't get like Fox News. I don't get like all of that stuff. I don't get like I guess I don't get like gay hate. Like what's up with hating gay people? Like that's very strange to me. It's, I suppose it's biblical. I suppose the people who feel that way are like using the Bible or whatever. But like for the most part, who cares? Who cares what people want? Like, it's very strange for a lot of Republicans, and I'll just say Republicans in general. There's exceptions to every rule. I'm not trying to like pigeonhole anybody. But it's weird how so many Republicans are like, yeah, money is the most important thing in the world. And then they go, and family, and religion, and this, and that. And it's like, you guys don't agree on anything. How are you a political body? Like, I don't know. I find that very strange. I find like Republican ideology very strange, personally, because it's so disconnected from itself. Like, you know, the number one thing about Republicans is that we cut taxes. And it's like, okay. If that were it, I'd be Republican. And religion. And gay rights. And women. And war. And it's like, okay, no, I'm done. I can't get behind people who feel that way. And to see people like Fox News who exemplify that, that's what you get when you only have two parties. Boy, I wish I had control over that. Man, I wish I had control over that. Yeah, it's bizarro. It's bonkers. It's like if you're an American and you run into financial trouble, right? This is a thing that happens to a lot of people in the Midwest. If you run into financial trouble and money becomes the most important thing in your life for a certain amount of time, right? And that's normal. And I don't disparage that. That's very normal. That's very possible. If money becomes the most important thing in your life, then all of a sudden you start hearing politicians talking about cutting taxes and, you know, working on the economy and doing all this sort of stuff. And it's like, oh, I agree with this politician. And in less than one election cycle, you have suddenly been converted into all sorts of stuff. And I'll keep it vague because some people don't believe in that stuff, and that's fine. And if you're good, you're good, like no problem. But like, you just for wanting one thing, you have to sign up for 20 other things. I mean, you can say the same thing about Democrats. I'll say the exact same thing about Democrats. Like, there's a lot of weird, like the feminism thing I was talking about earlier, right? Feminism is all about like equal rights for women. Yet there are some people that think that feminism is about like not letting women be sexualized at all. It's like, no. It's just as long as those people have the right to choose whether they're being sexualized or not. If anything, most Democrats are pro legalizing prostitution, which is maybe dangerous territory, but for the most part is like good for the health of prostitutes. It like kind of decreases the need for pimps in that culture. Anyway, I don't mean to be so political. This all started with games. The thing that annoys me the most, and I'll just keep it brief right here. The thing that annoys me the most is when people say one thing and they do another thing. And I'm sure everybody feels that way, but man, is it frustrating. It's so frustrating when, like, that's just what it gets to. This started with my rant about Mass Effect. No, this started with my rant about Pokemon. This is all the way back to Pokemon. I was talking about how Game Freak can't, like, render all of their Pokemon. And it's like, that's your job. Your job is to make Pokemon. Like, sorry. Anyway, we're done there. I genuinely, and I mean this very genuinely, to all the people who might be using this against me 10 years from now, I don't even know what the heck I'm going to be doing in 10 years from now. But if that's the case, and this is being put in like a court or something, I can't wait to be on the other side of the fence. And I can't wait to be the one that everybody is like, oh, I guess you weren't that smart back then. I hope I'm proven wrong. I hope I end up being like the big dummy here. I would like nothing more than to learn why the world is the way that it is. In the meantime, this tree is coming together. We got ourselves a little tiny branch. Like, that ain't bad. It looks a little crusty. It looks a little alien. Greg! What up, Greg? It's been a couple of days. How you been? Did you stream yet? I didn't catch you if you did. Nah, I haven't had a chance yet. Yo, I didn't realize that your Twitch channel is crazy. You got like a bunch of followers, man. What do you normally stream? I have such a hard time recognizing like who streams and who doesn't. I don't even think to like ask. I'm just like, yeah. What's up, beeps? Okay, so let's go ahead and make this guy real small. Haven't streamed in ages. Used to stream 3D modeling. A man of a million practices, that's for sure. You kind of do a little bit of everything, Greg. All right, so we're just popping up, getting some nice shapes going. Did you stream like your jet engine and stuff? Or what kind of 3D modeling were you doing? Like what level were you when you were 3D modeling live? Okay, so we want to pop in just a little bit of cricks here and there, and that should make this more believable. That, I think, is going to be the main method that we're going to sell all of this as being like a branch. Like that. The scale is weird, but otherwise, this doesn't look bad. Did the jet engine, did some level design stuff in Unreal 4. Hey, that's awesome. Greg, what the heck don't you do? Genuinely. I feel that way with all of you, actually. Everybody who's in my chat is always, like, crazy talented. How have I attracted, like, the most talented people in the world? Like, do you guys feel like mama bird's, like, protecting me from bad 3D modeling mistakes? Or, like, why does everyone hang out here? Dance? I don't dance. I could teach you to dance in no time. I love dancing. I spent such a long time working in kind of a miserable place. And we would go bar hopping while I worked there. And I would dance all the time. That was like my thing, is I would just like drink and dance. And that's how I dealt with like depression for a long time. And let me tell you, dancing's awesome. Dancing is like the most human thing that you can do. Nothing makes you feel more like real. And anybody who suffers with depression, I hope that makes sense. Just that feeling of like, I have a body and this is real and like I'm not like in a simulation. Dancing does that. Dancing really gets that point across. Okay, so that's not a terrible looking tree so far. So now I gotta start thinking about other things, right? Let's make some texture for this real quick. I'm gonna take a break from making the tree. Actually, I wanna put one guy right there. I'm gonna pop in at just that, scale that down, pop you up. I'm still learning my hotkeys a little bit, so I'm gonna rely a little bit more on the proper rotation tool. But using all of these shortcuts has been nice. That's not really how branches move. So let's go up. There we go. That's pretty good looking. I'm looking at this and I'm like, that's a pretty good shape for a tree. So what I need to do now, like next, I guess, is I gotta fill out a bunch of branches and I gotta make the branches a little bit less plasticky looking. I'm gonna start by doing this. We're gonna lower that resolution down just a little bit, and I think that'll help with what we're making, because then it's on me to subdivide things a little bit more. I feel cool with that. Okay, excellent. I'm also going to go ahead and throw on an Autosmooth. We'll just do it right there, and we're going to call it 60. 60 is the amount that I normally like on my Autosmooth. I don't know why. 90 degrees is probably like more professional, but 60 just feels nice. Usually gives me the results that I'm looking for. Okay, cool. So let's make some bark real quick here. So when I think of bark, I immediately think of a musgrave. I kind of want to make these like veins, right? I kind of want to make this. But how much? I don't know. Also, for anybody who's participating, we currently have a witch's robe as our first speed sketch suggestion. So whatever you'd like to see the witch wear, or whatever you'd like to see wear a robe, you know, make sure to get your suggestion in before 4:30. 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so we're gonna pop in a bump. I still don't really know the difference between bump and normal map. I don't totally get why you would use one over the other, but we're gonna use bump for now. And we're gonna want to pop on a musgrave. I might do a double musgrave and multiply them, but let's start with just this. So we're gonna want probably like 50. Oh, we're gonna want way more than that. We're gonna want 90. Kind of think I want to double that. Let's start with 150. That's not half bad. That's pretty good looking. I'm gonna pop in some texture coordinates, object. Ooh, okay. Yep, that's what I thought would happen. Now we'll go back down to 90. And we'll go to 50. That looks pretty good. Actually looks a lot like a tree from a distance. Bump map uses grayscale values to determine height, where a normal is a bit more flexible using RGB, and mixing them also allows for directional as well as up and down. Bump map can only do up and down. Got it. That's interesting to know. So could I... Now, that's complicated, right? Because I've generated bump maps, or I've generated normal maps from baking a bump. So how does that work? Like I've made this, right here. I've done this, and I've baked this and made a map. Oh, it's just a normal map with only height info. That is super weird. Okay, so theoretically, if I want to make this good, I should be doing this, right? Or is this going to ruin things? Nope, you can't do that. So you have to generate it. It can't be made from procedural textures. So what's the normal method for making a normal map that has angular detail? How would you do that? That seems very strange to me. I guess maybe that's like the next thing I should learn. Okay, so we're looking at this and I'm saying, how good is the detail work? That's pretty good looking. That's pretty good looking. That's a tree. I mean, that is a tree. That looks so good. Honestly, I usually make my normal in other programs. I'm assuming Substance Painter is probably a #1 for that. Is it supposed to be like a haunted tree? All right, are you ready for the grand reveal? Shall I reveal it to everybody? What's going on here? Why am I making this? You're ready. Okay, I will tell you. So there's this tree, right? I'm giving away my grand plan. There's this tree here. Let me remove these guys. Tree and pillar. A tree is huge. Okay. So the tree, let's make the tree not huge. We'll do it like that. That's about right. So tree's here on top of this pillar. There's gonna be a little dirt path on the pillar. And what's gonna happen is you're gonna walk your way up this spiral staircase. Pop, 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 pop. And you're here. Also, I'm about to blow your mind. Check Discord when you get a second. Okay. I'll have my mind blown. You walk up to this tree. Tree's still a little bit too big. We'll say right there is actually perfect. Yep, that's it. Right there. That's perfect. You walk up, and there is a cliff face, which I'm just representing like this. Oh, the cliff face is actually a little disoriented. There it is. You get up, you walk out onto the cliff face, and you can walk around. There's going to be a beach right here. This is going to be all beach line, and the cliff face up here. And what's going to happen is I'm going to render a dragon. So a dragon with his wings out, flying up in the air. He's going to be hovering, basically. He might flap. I don't know. We'll see how good I am. There's going to be a dragon, and the dragon is going to follow this ring right here. So the dragon is going to be like maybe this far out from the tree. Something like that. Following a nice little circle. And what's going to happen? What's he dragging? How dare you, Greg? You sent me some pics on Discord? All right, we'll check out a bunch of Discord stuff here in just a sec. So the dragon is going to be out, flying around this tree. And he's going to be spraying fire at the tree. So the tree is going to be charred. It's going to have these little charred bits on the end of it. What's going to happen for you as a player is the dragon is going to reference the angle that you are from the tree. So we'll call this 0, 90, 180, 270, 0 again. If you're at 0, the dragon is going to be at 180. And as you move, the dragon is just going to hover around the tree. So you're never going to get fire sprayed on you. The dragon is just always going to be facing you, shooting fire at the tree. I'm playing around with some like vector coding stuff, and it seemed like a really easy experiment to like practice. So I'm just practicing how to like get characters to operate like mirroring the player's operations. This is like stage 1 of making like a Dark Link fight where you know, you like fight a shadow of yourself that copies all of your moves. So this is just me practicing some stuff, and I think having a dragon like spraying this tree, it's part of a dream that I had, and obviously this game is like a big dream diary, so I just went for it. So here's my weird dragon tree. So the tree is going to be charred, is the short of all of this. Nice charred up little tree. Okay, so let's pop into Discord real quick. I'm going to see what everyone showed me, and then we're going to make some roots. Some nice little roots coming off this tree. What do we got? What do we got going on? I got sent a bunch of stuff all of a sudden. All of you decided to send me 1,000 things at once. My Discord is taking its sweet time loading right now. Don't know why. Also, my camera is a little fuzzy. Let's go ahead and turn that on. Kind of dark. I don't know why I'm so dark today. Okay, I got sent some crazy haunted trees. Very cool. Let's go ahead. I don't want to show off my private conversation. So I'm not going to show these haunted trees because you can see a little bit of the conversation above them. But I do really appreciate you sending me some reference images. And let's check out the Discord. So what do we got? We got some 3D modeling stuff from Greg. Oh, Greg. You missed it. You missed it. We already went on this. I'm not doing the tree generation because I'm doing some crazy tree stuff. We went over this at the beginning of the stream. I appreciate that though. I do have it. I do have it turned on. I got it right here. Sapling tree generation. I got it. Don't you worry. I thought about it. I deeply wanted to use it, but we just can't use it. It just doesn't work. Nope. No worries. We're good. Okay, so back to the tree. We're back. I'm paying attention. We're here. I'm alive. Let's do this thing. I'm going to go ahead and pop out a little bit of this. The song that we are listening to is nuts. I've never heard this one before. So we're going to go ahead and make the roots now. This is going to be a little bit of a hassle, I think. We're going to want to grab and go down. I'm going to put on, just so I can see exactly where we're going. We'll S that up just a little bit. That should be all right. And now I can grab you, extrude out. Kind of wish I went to art school. This traditional stuff is kind of fun. Who needs art school? Do it right now. You're doing it, man. School is so insignificant in the grand scheme of things. You got it. School really only exists to, like, show you what is possible. And that can be important, right? People who are like, school is useless, I don't agree with that mentality. I think school is very important for a lot of people, and a network, yes. But like, school mainly exists to show you things. It's a show and tell. It's a proof of concept. Any more than that, and you should just do it. Go do it yourself. All right, so let's go like this. Pop it on down. It's scalar. I think the only thing art school does is hold you to drawing constantly so you actually get good in practice. It's a safe exploration into the world. That's a really good way of saying that, honestly. That's like, to the T, exactly what you should expect from school. Well spoken, Greg. Yeah, there's nothing stopping you from diving in. I think, realistically, if people were trained correctly, like if you were taught in primary school correctly, every single concept in the world, whether it be Blender, whether it be doing your taxes, whether it's this, could and should be reduced down to a single course. And you just take that course and you're good. Or multiple courses. I don't mean a single course, but like, I think the idea that you get a 3D modeling, or even like an art degree, and 3D is like your specialty or whatever, or a game design and 3D is your specialty or whatever. I think that concept is super weird. Like, you just do it. You just go and do it, and if you need somebody to help you, take a class, of course. But the idea that, like, the class is what allows you to do it for the rest of your life? No. That's kind of crazy talk. I learned web dev myself, then took a degree in it just to get the paper. Yo, that's some pro moves. I mean, I've been learning Blender by myself. I suppose I've had all of you to, like, really help me. So you all can think of yourselves as, like, teachers. I think Simo is the person that, like, most single-handedly helped me. But, like, everybody really had a part to play. So, like, I mean, I guess I'm not... I guess I'm in a privileged position. Guess I'm in a little bit of a privileged position to speak that way. But, like, for the most part, you just do it. You just go for it. You just make stuff. I was talking to a friend from high school recently. Funny enough, Junie was talking to me, and like catching up. And then all of a sudden, another friend of mine from high school was like, "Hey, let's catch up." And I was like, "Wow, what is happening?" Guess it's just, you know, the 28-year-old blues. But they were talking to me, and I was just like, "Yeah, 3D modeling is like just the coolest thing in the world. You just get to make whatever you want. You just get to like do things. You just get to like create." And as somebody who's always been like super creative, there's never been like a tool that's as cool as like 3D modeling for just like, hey, I want to make a house. Okay, just make a house. Just like go for it. All right. An art mentor would be nice though. I agree, but most of the time that you're in school, mentorship is almost like unheard of. Like, I had some teachers that I really got along with in school, and I really liked. And at best, all I could do was, like, go to their office hours and, like, bother them while they're grading papers. And it's like, they were, like, happy enough to help, and we got along, so, like, there was a nice relationship there, but, like, you're not guaranteed mentorship for like going to college, which is weird because it's kind of the whole point. So I think college can be a bit of a misnomer when it comes to stuff like that. Okay, so let's look at this. That looks pretty good. So as you're coming up, there's going to be like a nice little vine right here, or a nice little root that you're looking at. I took a 3ds Max class in high school, but nothing stuck. 3ds Max is still used. I want to say 3ds Max. I want to say Cinema 4D has replaced it, but somebody else in chat might have a more clear answer on that. Cinema 4D is like the big one for like cutting 3D models into real footage, to the best of my understanding. It's like ZBrush, Houdini, Blender, obviously. 3DS and Cinema are really different. The question, do people still use 3DS? I'm trying to figure out which stuff is still relevant. Oh, and Maya, of course. Don't forget Maya. They do, okay. GigaChad Simo out there helping people with 3D modeling. Honestly, Simo, let me talk to you about passive income structures. You got to make like an online course or like a YouTube series or something and get that big passive revenue going. Second Life folk use Blender for most of their stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to call Second Life cheap because obviously people that care about it, like, really care about it. Like, they probably put a lot of money into it. But realistically speaking, it's pretty cheap as far as, like, game development is concerned. So using a free tool makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's the same reason I'm using Blender. I've grown to like Blender a lot, but initially I chose Blender over Maya because I'm not paying for Maya when I literally have no clue what I'm doing. Why would you do that? They taught 3ds Max in school. I really do need to think about making courses and stuff. I'm just terrible at business, but I'm moving towards that. I'll kick you in the butt and make you do it. Like, I'll be that guy. I just think you're like the one for it. Genuinely, thinking about passive revenue sources is like probably the most important thing you can do as at least an American. I won't speak about other countries, but like, you'll be my social media manager. I hope I don't need one. Just to put that out there, I hope I don't need one. I'm sure I will. Since we're talking about a lot of weird stuff today, let's dig in even more. I am like a very handsy person. I hug people all the time. I was raised very Southern, right? And so I'm very like touchy-feely, all that sort of stuff. And I know there's going to come a point where that's going to get me in trouble. I know I'm going to get in trouble with it. And it's a very hard thing to like prove that you're not being a creep. Like we have a nice little friend group that we hang out with that we like mostly watch movies, do arts and crafts, stuff like that with. A very, very sweet group of friends that come over to our house. For the most part, they come to our house. Sometimes we'll go over to their house. And we all get along very well. It's all women except for me. And my partner, who's non-binary. It's all like women. It's all the Goyles. We call them the Goyles. And like me, just being myself, I'm always like wrestling and playing and tickling and like doing all this sort of stuff with these peeps. And we're cool. Like they all know me. They know that there's nothing weird going on. My partner is there while it's happening. It's not, there's no implication, right? There's nothing happening. It's just like hanging out. But every time we have like a new person over to the house, it's always like, is your partner know about this? And it's like, yeah, like they're in the room with us. We're all here. And I know at some point in my life I'm going to get in trouble because of that. And so whatever, I'll just embrace it when it happens. I'll just be like, sorry, I'm just friendly. It's just how I am. So anyway, that's more information than anybody ever needed to know about me, but now you know. So if you ever want to get me canceled, there's the fast pass on how to do so. It will not be very hard for you. I guarantee you that. I mean, I feel like I knew this about you already. Yeah, but you know so much about me. You've known everything about me. And also, I think anybody who spends time with me will know instantly, like, what kind of person I am. Lately, I've been, Oh, by the way, I gotta mention this, sorry. Ban Red. I want him canceled. Joe, you're gonna be the one who does it, too. Slight change of pace. Guess what I realized this week, and everybody else, you must know about it now, because I know about it, and you as an extension of the stream, everybody, very important aspects of the stream, you must know about this. They have finally released the 4th Evangelion movie. This is not a drill. The 4th Evangelion movie has been released. It is out. I am watching it this weekend. It is out, everybody. Do not panic. It is time. I am very stoked. Apparently, it has, like, critical reviews. Like, apparently it has killed it, which I could never have imagined. Given the delay that it's experienced, I'm like, what the heck? There's no way it could be good. It's good. Apparently, I haven't seen it. I don't know. I guess I'll hate it when I watch it. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing this weekend. So I ain't gonna be on Discord. I'll tell you that. I'm gonna be plugged up. Hey, dare I say, this tree looks crazy good. Like, are there problems? Do I have to fix this tree up? Yes, of course I do. This looks a little weird. But like, yo, this thing looks crazy good. Look at that. That is gorgeous. This is a perfect tree. This is the best tree I've ever made. All right, let's keep it going. You're doing so well. Honestly, I don't know what I deserved to receive this amount of praise. Let's go ahead and pop on a 1 smoothness. I've been worried about doing this for a little bit now, but I think it's time to just go for it. I think it's going to make everything look a little bit more believable. So let's go for it. So we're going to extrude, we're going to scale. And I'm looking at the time, and we're doing all right on time, but I think I want to speed up a little bit. I think we got to chill. We got to really go for it. So let's extrude G, rotate on the Z. I'm going to chase this little wall right here. Hello? There we go. Junie, you are pretty touchy. I kind of never realized that about you. Now that you say it, it makes a lot of sense. You are very, like, hands-on. Okay, so we're doing that. I feel like gay women must love you to death. Like, you must be, like, a lesbian killer. That there has never been a truer fact, I think, said about you, and I'm sure you know that. I'm sure that's obvious. We were both raised by Southern parents, that's for sure. It just goes hand in hand. Alright, so I just want to chase this little margin here without it looking too unrealistic. Now, you're going to notice a good amount of clipping. I'm not stressing the clipping yet until I do the actual final sculpt of this thing, because I am going to sculpt this just a little bit. And until then, I don't want to focus too much on what's clipping. So we're going to pop this back on over here. So it's just chasing the edge, right? It's just making this nice little, gorgeous little path. Get out of there. Right? Look at that. Look at this beautiful tree. Don't you want to play on this tree until a dragon shows up and tries to spray fire on you? Like I do. That's all I want to do right now. So we're going to shrink this guy up just a little bit. We're going to chase it a little bit less strictly. Just like this. Needs little acorn houses for fairies? I'm not against the idea, but how is that going to work with Dragonfire? That was a joke, to be honest. I'm not against the idea of putting, like, a little fairy door on here. I could put a little fairy door down. Okay, so all we're doing is we're just making a nice little pop for this thing. Man, I wish when I pressed R, I could just get this tool to show up and then disappear right away. Like, having the gyro there is pretty crucial to what I'm doing. Being able to see it is, like, super, super important. We'll pop it down a little bit. That's fine. You know what? This one, I think we could take this, make it real small, pop it out, pop it back, and shrink it this way. And if we rotate that up and pop just a little bit more, that looks a little weird. No, let's not do that. Okay, so we're going to pop you in like that and up. And we're going to pop you back and up. And we're going to grab you and just pop a little bit of this over the edge. And that should be it. If I rotate this correctly like that, and just a little bit like that, and we pop you... Come on. My camera work is not great today. And if we just bring it down... This could work. Okay, here we go. This is what I'm doing. We're going to rotate this guy down. There we go, just like that. Nice and easy and down. Then we're gonna grab you, pop you up just a little bit. That's pretty good. Okay, that'll do. I kind of think I might like the roots looking just like this. What do you guys think? Is that enough? Like, I realize that there's an empty portion here, but it might almost be interesting to not put anything there. A root archway over the top of the stairs. Ooh, that's gambling. Because I don't know how tall the player is exactly. I want to say that looks about right, so directly above you here. That's an interesting thought. Okay, let's do it. Let's try it. So we're gonna do it right here. I'm gonna pop it in here. This one's gonna be tough. Okay, so we're gonna pop out just all the way. And I'm gonna want to cut it real close to the edge. Pop you up just a little bit. We're gonna get it to sag quite a bit in the middle. And then we're gonna pop it back up here. And now we want to shrink some stuff down. Get it super messy and weird looking for some reason. There we go. Same thing here. Make it real thin. It's lost a lot of its water on this bit. Let's remove this. This is giving me some trouble. Yeah, that's what I thought was happening. If we pop this back up to a regular position. There we go. Now we pop you up just a little bit. And we're gonna grab all of this, shrink it down, bring you up just a little bit. You need to be rotated this way and that way. And we'll do this. Come on, you got it, you got it. Perfect. Perfect. There's a little root archway. I really hate that piece right there. So we're gonna do a little bit of that. That looks good. Looks all right to me. I want to add like little vines, ribs, something like that. Maybe like tie something around here and like bridge it over, but we're not there yet. We're not doing that fine detail work yet. This is just little details for the time being. Little things just to think about. Okay. I'm feeling pretty comfortable with this tree so far. So I guess I'm reaching a point where a lot of the work that I gotta do is like sitting and just doing kind of boring stuff. You could probably make an argument that this whole stream has been me doing that, which is fair. But now is the point where I really gotta sit and like just do a bunch of junk. So, time for suggestions. Does anybody have any like interesting mystical stuff they'd like for me to add to this. I'm not going to add like little characters or anything like that, but just things that could be on a tree. Also, holy cow, my pinky toe is killing me. Oh my gosh. Hold on, I gotta inspect this pinky toe. Jeez, my gosh. Oh yeah, it's bruised. It's bruised to heck. Take some Tylenol? Nah. I'm not a medicine guy. I try to stay away from medicine as much as possible. I'm not against it if it's necessary, but you know, I try my best to stay away from medicine. If it's sprained, it's sprained. If not, it's not. I'll be fine. I have a pretty good pain tolerance, I think. Okay, so that is going to be that. I think we're good. And I actually just want to grab you and pull you forward just a little bit. Look at that. Little wispies floating around some of the branches. Oh. You've said it. You've said it. Junie, you have said it. Junie, you're going to be the MVP of the stream. I'm going to start electing MVPs every stream. You won this one. You get to be MVP. The wisps. What a good idea. That's such a... You know what? That's such a World of Warcraft idea. That makes sense for you to have had that idea. Yep, I knew it. I called it. I called it. Okay. There's a weird little guy right here. Ma, there's a weird looking cat. Right here. But we'll be all right. Pop him up right there and we're good. Cool. So we'll just put a little bit of guys there. Natural druid, big tree, forest aesthetic in video games so much. Me too. I think video games that can convey nature are super cool. Okay, you know what? You kind of opened my eyes to something here. I should be thinking about how to add... Okay, let's... I'm gonna be a real dick for a second here. I'm gonna teach everybody a word. Some of you might already know this word, and if you already know this word, I apologize to you. But let's learn a word together. Diegetic. Diegetic in video games basically means that the things that you're seeing and hearing in a game are canonical. So a good example of this is in Splatoon, when you're playing online matches with other players, you're hearing a song playing, right? Turns out, in the universe, there's actually speakers in the areas that you're playing the sound. So it's not assumed that you're just hearing game music. The game music is also being heard by your character. So let's think about diegetics in games, and let's make diegetic lighting. And I think a bunch of little wisps here, a little like Shinto forest wisps, would really sell the idea of diegetic lighting. Like coming up this staircase and having like little fairies like going up guiding you. Do the characters hear / see it? If so, it is diegetic. Exactly. Whispery noises. I haven't even approached the idea of sound design yet. I'm gonna have to do sound design for this whole game. Music is a very important part of this game. It's very critical to this game is that the sound is correct. So we're gonna be very careful about it. Okay, let's make a little wispy. How do we want to make a little wisp? I'm thinking we want to make like a snake, like an armature snake. No, I'm not speaking correctly. I don't want to make a snake. So we're gonna do it just like that. Most game UI is non-diegetic, which is big no-no for VR. Yep. Famously, one of the most famous games for diegetics is Metroid. Metroid Prime. Your HUD is diegetic because Samus is also seeing it. So, let's go ahead and pop in... Okay, fun fact. I've been playing a lot of VR chat lately, and people in VR chat are obsessed with icospheres. They put these things all over the place and act like they're religious artifacts, right? They act crazy about them. And so, kind of like, should I do an icosphere? Is that gonna look too cheap? Or should I go for something a little bit more natural? Also, I'm curious. Nope, you can't do points. A 3 icosphere is probably fine. Sims 4 sprites might be the snake-like things you mentioned. When I said snake, I meant something totally different. You'll see. I said snake kind of on a whim. I have an idea. You'll see what I mean. Let's not do that. Let's make a UV sphere. Let's make a UV sphere of 28 by 14. A nice cheap UV sphere. Yep, it's perfectly fine. I don't need to worry too much about those angles. Looks good. I can always subdivide it if I need to. I doubt we will, though. I'm probably gonna use a lot of these things, and I don't want to go too crazy. Should really get into VR chat and get myself a Femboy Hooters avatar. Oh, God. I love VR chat. VR chat is so cool. I treat VR chat like a walking sim. For me, VR chat is just like a cool place to go and look at maps that people have made. I'm sure that's like not what you're supposed to be doing, but I don't know. It's really nice just to like look at stuff. Do I want to do a 3? Yeah, let's do this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this, and we're going to go into edit mode. We're going to grab you, and I am going to sharp the heck out of this thing. Just like that. Kind of wanted it to be a little bit more wispy than this, but this will do. How about some Celtic runes carved into the tree? That's probably going to be pretty good, but that's going to be a little bit more of a workflow than I think I can do live here on stream. We're going to start with the wisp. I think the wisp is going to be big. Now, I'm going to make some animation. Let's do some animating. You know what? I've been thinking about it for a little bit. Let's animate this thing. You know what? Oh, I'm being really dumb about this. Let's get rid of the inner sphere. I can just shade the outside of this thing. So we're going to call this Wisp. You're just the Wisp. Okay, so let's go ahead and animate the heck out of this thing. We're going to give it a shape key. We're going to call this one Standing Still. Okay, I'm pretty bad at animation. So I guarantee you I'm going to make a mistake right now. And for everybody watching, I apologize. We'll get there in the end. I promise I will get there, but right now, I'm not that good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab this guy, and we're going to add him as start up. How do I go between these two? How did I not chain these two together? Interpolation linear. right? And that's 10? What? I've messed it up. I've messed it up somehow. I'm not sure how I've messed it up. Why have I messed this up? Oh. I see. I see what I did wrong. You got it, folks. Okay, we're in edit mode. Now we add a shape key. We're gonna call this startup. And I'm gonna grab it and we're gonna pull you back. And if I go to object mode, yeah, perfect. Okay, cool. So we got that. And now I want to add a new shape key. And this is going to be called left. Sure, we're going to call it left. I'm sure that's not what I should be calling it, but that's what we're going to call it. And I'm going to grab... Tough. This is tough. Tough to think about. Oh, gosh. It has to chain from... Oh, it has to change from startup. There we go. Aha! Okay, we're good. So now, we're going to want to pull this guy back. I have already messed up, I believe, but we'll get there. Let's do a smooth. And then I'm going to grab a sharp. Like that. And it's more of a right than a left, but I think we'll call it there. Sure. Oh no, this is going to be a problem. I've already messed up so bad. Okay. From left. Oh, what the heck, man? Aha, I see, okay. Shape keys are super weird. Yeah, it's like a tadpole. If I make a new one, you're gonna be called right. Left and right are backwards. But that's fine. Oh no. Okay, so this is gonna be right. Yeah, he's gonna have a little wiggly tail. That's the idea. Oh gosh. Why does it restart from nothing every time? So we're gonna put on a smooth, go that way, and we're gonna put on a sharp and go this way. And that's right. There we go. We've done it. Okay. Oh, it looks terrible. I'm gonna have to like re-topo the heck out of this thing. But for the sake of it, I'm gonna put a subsurface on it because it could use a little bit of love, I think. Okay, so let's give it a shot. So I'm gonna go to shape keys. We're gonna lower everything down to 0. And I'm gonna make a keyframe, and we're gonna go for it. So let's grab him as is, insert keyframe for all of these. No. Insert keyframe, insert keyframe. Okay. So in 10 seconds, or 10 frames, he's gonna start up. We're gonna insert a keyframe. And in 20 seconds, he's gonna go left. We're gonna insert a frame. They're going to go back and forth, and this is going to move way too fast for everybody. No, please. Insert keyframe. One more left. So back to 1. And if I end both of these together at 45... like this is gonna be terrible, isn't it? Which channel on Discord would be the most appropriate place to post a random traditional sculpture? 3D, of course. You're fine, Simo. You can post it wherever you like. I would say 3D is the place, though. Okay. Are we ready? Are we prepared? Have I done this correctly? Oh! Oh, gosh. Okay. Nope, 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 nope. I know exactly what we did wrong. I know exactly what we did wrong. He looks terrible. Okay. Animation is my passion. Animation is my passion. Oh, gosh. I gotta find a more procedural way to do this. I definitely have to find a more procedural way to do this. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna remove the subsurface. We're gonna go to these groups, and I'm gonna remove left and remove right, and now we just have startup. And we can go ahead and just delete all of these guys. There we go. So now he's just going to move in a straight little pattern. Eventually, I'll add a way to like crinkle up the back of this guy, but this is how it's got to be right now. So let's go back to our 0, and let's make ourselves a little wisp. Goodness me. So hopefully I can do a little bit better on the node groups. We'll go back to things I feel comfortable doing. 3D, I guess it is. Yeah, of course. 3D it is. Let's go ahead and check this post out. Oh, Junie. I see what you've sent me. This is so gorgeous. Yo. Simo, back at it again with the skulls. I love the little tufts of color. I'm sure that was just you mixing a bunch of stuff together, but it looks good. And you got the toilet paper roll. I mean, that's pro. You're a pro. You're such a pro. Also, I was sent this. I can show these off now that the conversation is not showing. I was sent all of these. I love the lanterns. Those are lovely looking. There's the little tadpole swimmy guys. I suppose I could probably add a shader in Unreal that follows an orb and draws like a shutter behind it. It's from The Sims. From The Sims. Okay, so let's make a guy. I think Simo was talking about the wisps. If I am to be led correctly, I'm pretty sure Simo is talking about the wisps. All of it? Yeah, it's The Sims. Sims 4. And I guess, yeah, what are the trees from? Okay, let's do... Trees are from Second Life. There we go. So I'm going to pop in a little bit of an alpha. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that there's a core inside of here. So I'm going to pop on a texture coordinate and a quadratic gradient. Quadratic sphere, object, alpha. This always happens. I always forget to do this. Replace those two. What the heck? What is happening? That's confusing. Why would an object not generate... Ain't that just weird? Ain't that just weird? What the heck? Object should be generating from here. I guess I'm not making a volume. Yeah, it's not a volume, so it doesn't work that way. Okay, never mind. So I'd have to make a shell around it. What a shame that is. Okay, sure. We're going back to the original idea. I'll leave this as is for the time being, but we're probably going to replace this. But I will grab this and shrink it down to be a little bit smaller than that. And we're back to node groups. Okay. We can delete you, pop you up into alpha. We can go ahead and texture this guy way down, but before we do that, let's do like a 0.5 on the dimension, and detail work goes up to 10. 10 is overkill, let's do 4. Scale it up to 15. Give ourselves a little bit of a guy. If you're feeling extra froggy, I'm going to go ahead and pop on a spherical little guy right here. I mentioned Valenwood from ESO, and now I feel like I want to start playing it up again. ESO. What is ESO? Elder Scrolls Online. Man, Elder Scrolls Online. What a game. Elder Scrolls Online is pretty cool. I don't think it receives enough credit for how cool it is. It is like such a weird love letter to the Elder Scrolls series. Scale, we're going to drop the scale down on this. We're going to up the detail quite a bit and up that detail scale quite a bit. Distortion can get a little bit higher. And now I'm going to pop in our Musgrave, and we should be good to go. Let's do a math. Nope, not a math. Mix RGB. There we go. U to there, U to there, U to alpha. And instead of adding, we're going to want to divide. It's not exactly what I was hoping to achieve. There we go. That's what I was hoping to achieve. That looks about right to me. CQDK, hello. You love Wood Elves, surprising nobody. Honestly, I would have expected none else from you. Okay, how much of this do we want? Let's go full on. It's a little too liquid looking, but I think if we add like a metallic sheen to it, this could look really intense, really cool. So I'm gonna add a metallic. We're gonna lower, actually we're gonna keep the specular up. And we're gonna want a little bit of transmission, like a 0.5, 0.5. Emission is going to be its own crazy color. I'm going to start with that just for the time being, and we're going to pop it down to like a 0.4. Okay, so the roughness has to go up. There we go. Now it's nice and shiny and weird looking. I kind of want to soften the edges of this a little bit, but I don't think it's going to work that way. What color are we thinking for the wispy? So cyan, purple, red, black is being used by the main characters of the game. So I'm thinking greens, yellows, Cyan, again, is fine. And maybe like a navy blue. Out of that, I'm thinking it's probably got to be like leaf green and highlighter green. But we'll get there. I can't be sure yet. I really want to soften these edges. I need to soften them so much. Just came to say hello? Yeah, no worries. Good night, CQDK. Have yourself a good one. I appreciate you stopping by. I'm going to leave this shell like this for just a second. It looks a little too rigid, but it's fine. It's interesting. Let's, actually, wait. I should be using a linear light. Yep, that's exactly how I should be doing this. There we go. Now it's perfect. Now it's exactly what I wanted. And you can see that circular structure, which is good. Let's go a little higher up. Yeah, little baby clouds. If I tried to render this as a volume, it would be impossible to render in real time, so I'm not going to do it. So this will do. Okay, let's do some missions. First and foremost, let me grab the sphere. We're going to call this Wisp Aura, and we're going to call this Wisp, and we're going to grab the Wisp. We're going to shade them smooth. Junimo, 3ds Max is still very popular. A lot of companies use Maya or 3ds Max still, it seems. I can't believe that has been posted now. Were you keeping that in the back of your mind? That's wild. Also, hello, uncomfortable person. Happy to have you. Didn't mean to call you out like that. That was interesting. That's like, sometimes you go through Twitch VODs and, people watch the VOD and comment on the VOD, and a comment comes, like, way later. That's what that felt like. That was, like, a very surreal moment right there. Okay. Let's go ahead and post up a nice little, like, highlighter green. Stepped away and had lunch. Yeah, no worries. I'm always just happy to have you. No worries at all. I expect nothing from anybody ever. So I hope nobody takes anything I say too seriously or expects or thinks that I expect too much of them. It was just a very interesting comment. It was. Maya is definitely the biggest one from my experience. It's very hard to like talk to anybody in the games industry not using Maya. Okay, so I'm gonna want a green, like there, and I'm gonna want like a yellowy green, like that. Bring the green values up. I don't get people who polymodel in Maya. It's so weird. What would you say is Maya's specialty then? Because I think polymodeling is kind of Maya's specialty. Animation? Yeah, but I mean, if people pay that much for a tool, they're going to do more than just animate in it. Like a bright, brilliant green, and we're actually going to drop this base color down. Yeah, you model in Maya? You model in Maya? You're doing sculpting in Maya? Or when you say model, do you mean poly editing? Because if you're doing sculpting in Maya, I think that's kind of crazy. That feels way outside the realm of like what people use it for. Poly sculpt is better in ZBrush. Yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking. Uncomfortable. I don't think I've ever asked. What's, I think I've asked you how long you've been 3D modeling, but, do you work in modeling? Do you do anything? To be a Maya editor, I feel like you gotta be pretty serious. I feel like that goes way beyond, just, like, having a sort of simple passion. That there's a certain point where it becomes, like, very legitimate. And I think you're past that point. Or is that secret information and we shouldn't be asking? A little bit of white with the iridescent? That does it. Pretty sure no one sculpts in Maya. Yeah, I don't know why you would. I mean, it makes sense if you're like... Okay. I haven't worked in the industry, so I don't know. But if somebody paid for Maya for me, I think I might try to bust as much as I can to get all of the money out of it that I could. So I could see somebody, like, trying to take it very seriously as a result of their employer. But boy, would I not do that. Also, tell me that ain't gorgeous looking. Little tiny islands. I'm kind of thinking I want to reverse the colors. So this is gonna be a real mistake. Let me make another one. We're gonna do it like this. I'm gonna pop this down here, pop you right there. We're gonna reverse these colors. So we're gonna take the green, put you here. Blue, put you here. White, put you there. Blue, put you here. That looks so good. I think I might want to replace the white and the blue. And this white could use a little bit of lavender. That looks hella good. Not yet. Hoping to get into the environmental art soon. Hopefully get into industry sometime this year. Yeah, from people I've spoken to in the industry, you have to adapt to whatever program they use. Totally. I think that's, like, crucial. Well, good luck, man. Did you go to school for it, or what's your journey looked like so far? How have you gotten to where you are now? Do we like it with or without the blue? I think the blue might be overkill. That gives it, like, a nice yellowy sort of... If I go here and I do, like, a nice yellowy green, make it real bright. That just looks so lovely. And this guy could be a little bit more on the blue. So we're going to give you, like, a 0.5. That's it, right? That's it. I've made a wisp. I've made a beautiful little wisp here. That's exactly what he should be looking like. So I'm going to make the core of it a little darker so it contrasts a little nicer on the front. Yeah, this is good. I like this. This is very gorgeous looking. You see this little ball of light, you want to follow him. Done a few online courses, otherwise I pick new concept art I want to model or anything I don't understand or know yet. I look up tutorials and chat with people to figure it out. Do you have an art station? Do you have an art station that we can plug into stream and show off? If any secret people are watching, maybe they could look at you and call you employable or not. You know what? I'm looking at this. That green is too bold. I don't think we've looked at your art station. Any secret people want to employ me for having good ideas but no other skills? Oh, I'll employ you, Junie, one day. I do, but nothing fancy, so don't expect much. Is it under the same name? Is it under uncomfortable person? There we go. We're going to keep the green on a little bit of the lighter side. In fact, I might even lower this down to like a 0.3, but super high 0.1? No. 0.5. I'm not loving it as I'm playing with it. I do think I want a different color here. A white is probably the answer. And we'll cut a little bit more green onto here. No, I have it under my real name. I can post a link if you like. Please. I would appreciate that. I don't know if you're on the Discord. I would prefer you post your link on the Discord so we can all check it out. But if you want to post it here, that's perfectly understandable. You know what? I should just add a little bit of this green to it. And we're going to fade down to a white. Yep, that's it right there. That looks great. That looks literally perfect. Let's get rid of the wisp for just a second. I'm just looking at the aura. And what I want to do is dimension up to 1. Make it a little softer looking. And drop these down to 1. I think that's it. A little planetarium. A little flying planetarium. I sold myself short. I'm an alright writer. I toyed around with the idea of selling short story commissions, but I'd get burnt out real quick. Burning out is like the #1 thing, right? That's the thing you got to pay attention to when you're doing literally anything. Man, I'm like, do I do metallics now? Do I make this thing a metallic weird shell? Oh, the emission is overriding that. It doesn't matter. Discord easy enough. I'll post it there. Yeah, please do. And then we'll give you a checkout on stream. Speaking of which, now that I'm looking at the time, it is 30 minutes until we do our speed sketch. So far, the only thing in the speed sketch is a witch's robe. So whatever you'd like to see wearing a witch's robe, please make your suggestion. Because otherwise, it's just going to be a disembodied witch's robe. Okay, so what I want for the inner part of this guy, I want it to be really shiny. In fact, I might even want it just to have sheen with a high tint. Yeah, really high tint sheen. And we'll drop that down to like a ruby. Now the green I think is good. If I do no Junimo from Stardew Valley wearing a robe. I don't know who Junimo is. Beryl, what's up? Beryl, how are you doing? It's a cute little thing. Oh, it's the little apple square guy, right? I'm doing good. Yes, I know what you're talking about. That could be good. That wearing a robe, I am a fan. Color me a fan of that. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to make... I want to make this kind of chaotic looking. I'm going to jump onto Discord here in just a second. And I'll show your link to everybody. I really got to think about this for just a second. You were miserable today, so you were drinking. Now, I'm sure some random dude on the internet telling you this is probably not what you signed up for, but I think you might want to relax a little bit on the drinking. I think you're all right. I think you're doing pretty good by yourself. I don't think you need all the alcohol, personally speaking. I was talking a little bit earlier on stream about how I drank a bunch during a really awful job that I worked to just sort of like feel alive for a little bit. And I would recommend that you don't fall into that trap. It's not a fun little trap to be stuck in. So as much as a stranger on the internet can tell you that, it's been said. Okay, so we're looking to make a shape, right? We want to make a shape. It is too late. I mean, it's definitely not too late. You got tomorrow, you got the next day, you're good. You got a many more opportunities. All right, let's go ahead and spherical. Why did it do that? We're making like weird, like pixel art almost. You know what I think will be more interesting than this? Let's pop off of that. Let's make ourselves a magic texture and a noise texture. And I'm going to do a shape. So we're going to do depth 5. This is going to be nuts. Okay, here we go. Get rid of the aura. And we're going to do like a 10. What do we want? What do we want? Mix. Roughness is down. Scale is down to like that. Detail should be pretty high or pretty low. Distortion should be a little bit higher. There we go. That's... I mean, that's gorgeous, right? That's a gorgeous looking sphere. We could probably just use this. But let's start mixing. In fact, I just realized I should up the distortion on this guy and lower the scale. And that is the beginning of what we want. It looks like Ozu or whatever his name is from Final Fantasy. Finals can be stressful for sure. I think something that you learn as you get older, and I think that's one of the meaner things that you could say to somebody, but I mean this very genuinely when I say this. One of the biggest things that you learn when you get older is that you're not teaching yourself not to cope with things. You're just changing your coping mechanisms. That's like the critical part. It's not about not coping and like just having a perfect life where you don't have problems anymore. It's about changing the realm in which you interact with what it is that you rely on. Like for me, I've had a lot of disastrous coping mechanisms in my life. I've done a lot of not good things to myself. I'll put it that way. But nowadays, the biggest thing that I do for myself is I wake up a little bit earlier than normal and I go take a walk in the woods. And it seems stupid. It seems like such a silly thing that shouldn't work, but it does work. And yours doesn't have to be that, it just has to be something. And that something is going to be super critical to you. I find like a 5-minute mindfulness exercise every day or every few days works wonders for my stress. Totally. Same. Yeah, just like, I think a lot of stress in general comes from people feeling like they don't have control over their own life. And so any amount of control that you can give yourself, I am going to take a walk. I am going to eat this. I am going to exercise. I am going to go pet my cat. Whatever it is huge. Just a little bit of like, this is what I want to do right now. And being, and appreciating it while you're doing it as well. Not just doing it, you know, not just chugging a bunch of ice cream and saying, I deserve this, but like being like, why should I be eating ice cream right now? That's huge. That's, to me, what makes people happy. When I talk to people who claim to be happy, that's usually it. That's usually the thing that people are like happy about. Also, I'm realizing my scale looks pretty bad. It's like not rendering correctly. So I hope you're doing well. I know from, you know, past experiences with you that you'll be fine. You always bounce back. But in the meantime, just take a little bit of care. You'll be all right. I go walking on the fields by the river. It smells wonderful this time of year. Well, you know. So today was a hard day. That's fine. So next time, you'll just do a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more until you feel good. That's fine. You're doing all right. You know what? I want to scale that to 2. No, I still like the 1.5. We still have these weird little marks everywhere that I don't love, but this should be all right. All right, cool. So that is our sphere. Oh, it's the metallic. That's what was causing all those weird... I believe it was the metallic. Nope, still there. It's pretty hard to notice, though, so we'll keep it. Bring the metallic back up. Let's bring the base color off. Let's go ahead and grab you. Open fields and a river sounds awesome, honestly. Looks like a bouncy ball I used to own. That's kind of the vibe. Greg's back. Greg, where'd you go? What'd you do? Also, you guys got 15 minutes to make any modifications to the speed sketch. So take it while you got it. Coffee. Yo. I am not a coffee guy. I used to be. I really respect coffee, but it just ain't me. What do we want? What do we want in here? Kind of looks like Sprite. It kind of looks like the Jet Set Radio logo. Sorry to bring back memories of Jet Set Radio for everyone that, you know, officially got over it, but we're back on Jet Set Radio grind. The speed sketch is currently... Oh, something cute. You're in for a surprise today. It is currently the Junimo from Stardew Valley wearing a witch's robe. Which already sounds like it's going to be pretty hard to do. So I don't know why I'm trying to make it harder on myself, but... On fire! Okay, I make kind of decent, but not decent fire. So I guess we'll see how my fire turns out. Also, I gotta say, this looks all right. I kind of want to put... I love this color scheme. That is a gorgeous color scheme. It's very Destiny. I kind of want to put alpha on this thing and see what happens. I mean, that looks pretty dope. It looks a lot like the fireflies I made a couple of days ago. The alpha is probably going to be a little hard to export on Unreal, but I don't hate it. Yeah, let's take it like this. That's cool. I'm going to call it there, and then I'm going to start grabbing reference images. So let's take it there. So that's what you're looking at when you get a little spirit. And the more I look at this, the more I'm like, I wish it was bluer. So let's go 0.25, 0.3, that'll do. And let's go 0.4. This girl's on fire. I'm not gonna sing it. I came close to singing it. I thought about it. I decided against it. 0.8. There we go. Oh, that is a lovely color scheme. Holy cow. I think I wanted a little bit more green. Little bit darker. That is it. That is a spirit I would like to follow into the woods. Now I just got to get the whole like tail part of it to wisp. There's a lot of work I got to do on this thing, but this is my proof of concept. It's probably gonna look a lot different in the finished result. I'm probably going to try and make some sort of shader volume thing. But for right now, this is it. We'll take that. So let's make ourselves a little new file. There we are. I'm going to go ahead and save this as our quick sketch. What are we calling this thing? This thing is a robed Junie on fire. That'll do. Okay, let's get some reference images. Off to Firefox. Oh, real quick. Sorry, I forgot. I apologize for forgetting. We're going to check out Uncomfortable Person's art station. So let's go ahead and jump into this real quick. Just switching over to Firefox. It's bright white. I hope you can see it in the camera. It's frying my eyeballs right now. All right. There we are. All right, no embarrassment. You're good. This is gonna be great. It does not want to load. There we go. Does Mozilla have a dark theme? It does. I'm using it, but it starts off white. And since my computer is doing a bunch of stuff at once right now, it loads a little on the slow side. Okay. Like a knife in the woods, you hunt me down. You hunt down the good in me. I've heard that lyric. I've heard that before. All right. We got Johnny Liu, Joni Liu. I don't know how you would pronounce it. We'll call you Uncomfortable Person. Some good looking rocks. Look at those beautiful maps. Looks kind of low poly too. I know textures and polys. That's not a thing. Yeah, they look really good. This is very World of Warcraft. This is a little bright for Warcraft, but that is so like League of Legends, Warcraft. Yep, exactly. Me and Junie, we're on the same mindset. This has kind of a Borderlands vibe to it. Yo, you're good. I like the video. That's a good touch. Stylized is definitely my preference. Yeah, I agree. I think stylized is definitely the answer. For me, I made a chart. I'll show you my chart. I made a chart the other day where I was like, I wanted to consider my art style because I don't have an art style and I want to make an art style. And I was looking at a bunch of games and I put it on how realistic their character is versus how fantastic their characters are versus how fantastic the setting is to how realistic the setting is. And so like anime is realistic setting, super fantastic characters, right? The most fantastic characters you've ever seen in your life. And so I'm just thinking about that, and I was just thinking about where I belong. And I think I'm dead in the middle, except leaning towards fantastic characters. So as I get better, hopefully that'll be it. Borderlands, Wolf Among Us, what was my inspo for that for sure? Excellent. So we got a cottage. I like how you're so like bold with your colors. That's something I think is a big fault of mine. Every time I like color things, I'm like, it's got to have 100 shades, and I got to do the wood grain, and I got to put a wave texture and a noise texture and a musgrave, and you're just like, yeah, this is the color. Like, it is what it is. I think that reads super well. Like you could see that from a big distance away, and it's a building. You gotta go there. You gotta. That's good. That's good game design. Really good work. The forest path. Ooh, that snow is killer. If you turn your screen off, everything is in dark mode. Greg with the sass. Okay, I got one criticism for you if you'd like it. If you want criticism, I have a piece of criticism. Oh, that's not snow. That's untextured. Oh, that like triggers something perfect. I think this is lit a little crazy. It looks like way too highlighted. And when you switch over to the snow, which I thought was snow, and obviously it's not snow, it looks so much better because it matches like dark light, whereas the light and light, there's like no real contrast between these two. I know you're going for like God rays sort of thing. It'd be nice if you could find a way to get the lighting dark in the middle here and have it only bright at the top. Looks Shrekky? It does look Shrekky. Yeah, it's like you want to have a break between the ground and the light. So if there was a way to get it dark here and then bright only on the top, like maybe have a sun shooting rays towards the skyline instead of straight down. I know how I'd make it with a skybox. I don't know how you lit the scene, so I'd have a little bit more trouble like picturing how to do it. Lighting in Unreal is something I need to spend time on. So much you can do on there. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know how to do it either. I would do a worse job than you, for sure. So me giving criticism should be taken with a grain of salt. Yo, this is crazy. This is hella crazy. This is nuts. Oh, wow. I love this. I'm sure this is like kind of normal for people that do 3D modeling stuff, but to me, this is like... That's it. And we got the nice straight bricks. Oh, yeah. Those are good bricks, too. Very substance painter. Really well done. Good on you, man. You're killing it. I hope the industry takes you with open arms. And I hope you don't get screwed over by your eventual employer. Because the games industry is a scary one. I will show off my art station. I have one very poorly lit scene. I lit it so bad. I made it so quickly. But I made this. And I'm pretty proud of it. I made this in like 3 hours. And I was like, it looks hella good. For 3 hours, this is like... This is good by my standards. I need to recolor that grip, I think. It's a little too bright for me. And the lighting on the background is too much. But otherwise, I'm pretty stoked with this guy. I added a little indentation on the ruby. I feel good about it. And there's Damascus on the blade. Anyway. That's that. That's the show-off hour. Done. So, cool. I'm going to go ahead and start up the speed sketch as soon as we do a little bit of research. So I will say goodbye to the first part of the stream.